scripture journals and the different kinds that are out there and how to best use them when you study scripture. So you've probably seen these. I think the predominant one is really from Crossway. It's the ESV scripture journal. And these really focus book by book. They're not the entire Bible in one book. They are specifically focused on one book of the Bible at a time. And so you can get just one depending on what you're studying. I do like to have these. I recommend them when I teach in my small group because we do work through one book of the Bible at a time. And it really allows you to kind of clear out everything else and really focus in on this particular book that you're studying. And so I want to share with you some of the different ones that are on the market, what the benefits might be to each one, and maybe just allow you to see which ones might be the best fit for you. They're not expensive. These range anywhere from $4 to $10. So these are not expensive to add to your stash, whatever you're working on as you're studying. If you're wanting to use them for small group studies, this is really going to allow you to get a good view of what they are. I also use these with my kids. So when you're working in discipleship with your children, where you're teaching them to study scripture, these are a good resource to have for them because it's not as overwhelming. Especially when they're younger, they can be a little bit distracted by all the words and all the things. And so this is a good way to just really hone in on the particular book that you're studying. It gives them some room to write out thoughts, questions, things that are going on in your mind as you're reading. So I'm going to share these with you. I am actually going to share 6 of them. I have all 6 here, 6 of them. And they are through different versions. So they're not all one version. They're all different versions. And they all have something unique to bring to the table. They all have something that is different that you might find appealing when you study. And so we're going to walk through each of these and I'm going to show them to you, what they look like on the inside, what they include, what they do not include, and let you get a good idea of what might be the best for you as you study scripture. All right, so these are the 6 that we are going to look at. These are the scripture journals. I have them all in Romans so that we can kind of get a good comparison for each one and what they have to offer. And so this first one is the New King James. Then you have the Jesus Bible, 2 ESV, the Abide Bible, and the NASB. So each one is a different version with exception of these 2, but I got them to show you the difference in the 2 ESV that are available. So the first one that we're going to look at is from the New King James. It is the New King James Bible Journal. It is from Thomas Nelson, and it offers the introduction to the New King James, what the New King James is about, and then it also offers an introduction to Romans. Now, not all of these have an introduction to the book that you're studying, so that's really important to consider as you're picking one of these. Do you want to have the context and background information at your fingertips when you are studying scripture? Because not all of them have this available. And then, of course, just like all the regular journals, you have scripture to one side and your lined pages on the other side. So it gives you the ability to study fully the passage, to study the chapter, to study the book. And so each page is the same. You have the scripture to the one side, and then you have the line pages on the opposite side. And so this is, again, the New King James Version, very simple, but it does have a larger print font, which I think a lot of people will like, and it includes the introduction to the book of Romans. Then you have the Jesus Bible, which is NIV. And if you have, I have a review, I will tag it, of the Jesus Bible and what is included in the Jesus Bible and why I think it's a really good resource to have on hand. So I will link to that, and you can watch the review on the Jesus Bible. But this is the Jesus Bible Journal. It is in ESV. It is from Passion Publishing. And on the inside, you have the introduction to Romans, just like you did in the New King James. This focuses on Jesus throughout Scripture. And then you have your Scripture on the left and your lined pages on the right. So the font is a little smaller for this. And you have a little more margin around the outside of the Scripture. And you also have a little more margin on the outside of the lined pages as well. So something else to note about this one, there are extra notes inside that are the same in the Jesus Bible. So these are extra notes that go along with the passage of Scripture. And so this does include that. It also includes larger articles that are written about the passages as well. So this has a lot of extra information. So we've finished Romans, and now you see it has a table of weights and measures, and then all of the articles that are included that you can read through. So this isn't just the journal with the Scripture. This also has a lot of study extras in it that you don't get in the other journals. And so it gives you room to read the articles and to journal as well. So this is a much more comprehensive journal than some of the other ones. And it really is going to give you more in the way of study as you're digging into the passage than some of the other ones who strictly stick to just the Scriptures. These are the common ones that we see. These are from ESV. You have the pretty one. It's the Illuminated Scripture Journal. It does not include an introduction to the book that you are studying. It jumps straight into Scripture. This one has dotted pages instead of lines, and it includes some pretty artwork. So this one is strictly Scripture. It's not going to give you any extra. It does give you the room to journal, to write, and it has the pretty artwork inside. The other one from the ESV is also the same. It does not have an introduction to the book that you are studying. It jumps straight into Scripture, and it is lined pages rather than dotted pages. So the illuminated one is really good if you are into Bible journaling or doing artwork in your journal. It gives you a little more freeform space to do that. But these are fairly simple, straightforward Scripture on the left, lined pages on the right. The next one is the Abide Bible, and this is from Thomas Nelson. This is the NET translation, and this one is really good for a devotional type of journal. So when we open the inside, it gives you instructions on how to use the journal and how the translation was done, information about that. Then this also gives you the introduction to Romans. So this gives you that extra bit in the front to help you know what you're going to be studying when you unpack Romans. And then on the inside, you have Scripture on the left, lines on the right, but you also have some prompts that help you dig in, that are more devotional style, that are really going to help you think through what you're reading and to process that out in a devotional way. It gives you some things to journal about, some things to reflect on. And so this is really a good one if you're looking for something simply to aid in your devotional time, to help you pray through what you're reading and really think through some of those things. And so this is a really good one. I also like that it has the larger font, makes it easier to read, easier to follow. You don't have to try so hard to read the smaller print. So this is a finer print, or a larger print, excuse me. And so it makes it a little bit easier to read. And again, it has that devotional style on the pages to give you some things to journal, think through, and to work on. So again, this is the Abide Journal from Thomas Nelson. And lastly, we have, this is the NASB, and it is from Steadfast Bibles. It's a scripture study notebook. Now, this one is bigger. It's larger in size if we compare the two. This one is larger in size, and it is also thicker. There is a lot in this journal, and it really gives you a lot of space and a lot of room to work through what you're studying. Now, this does not include an introduction to Romans, and you can see how much space you have. So not only is it giving you a lot of space on the page with the scripture, it's also giving you a lot of lined space as well. This is probably a standard size font, I would say 10, most likely, where some of the others are more of like a 12-point font. And this really is simply scripture on the left and lines on the right. They just give you a lot more space to work with the text. And so if you are like me and you love to highlight and circle and break down words and really dig into the passage, you might like this better because it gives you a lot of room to do that. As you can see, all of this space. So this is really good if you like to really dig in to the text and work through and write. This gives you a lot of space to do that. And for a book like Romans, it's something that you need when you study.